What's up everybody, I'm Abatage and welcome to the very first episode of One Shot. This is a series where I have a shot at a single game, have a little play, have a look, and today I'm having a shot at Skullgirls. This is a game by Lab Zero Games. They're an independent company and they crowdfunded Skullgirls, which originally came out on consoles and came out on PC this year, being 2013, and it's pretty cool. Really, it is. Yeah, they're a small company and they've been working primarily on this game, I think. But you'll see when we get into it, and you can see from this title screen, I guess, just how kooky and cool the art style is and how groovy the game is. But it's actually a really good fighting game because it's essentially a 2D fighting game with cool sprites and groovy animations and a very funky kind of style, which is kind of an Art Deco film noir kind of style mixed with a steampunky anime aesthetic and a jazzy soundtrack. But yeah, this game is a good one to start with, I think, because it's really cool and really interesting. No, I don't want to view the patch notes. And this isn't my first time playing. I've actually played this for about half an hour before. So, not very long. As I'm recording this, there's a Steam free weekend on for this game, but this video probably won't go out until that weekend is finished. But it's still very reasonably priced. I think you can pick it up for about 10-15 bucks on Steam. Check the description for links. There'll be links there. And yeah, let's have a little look, because it's kind of cool. And yeah, this PC version is pretty good too. So we've got single player campaigns for each of the characters. We've got versus, which is online or local versus. Training, which is very good. We'll actually have a look at that. Help and options, exit game, download content, achievements, leaderboards, extras, art galleries, all that kind of crap. And that's about it. So let's have a quick look at the options, because this is a PC game and it's worth looking at it for a PC game. In fact, just while I'm here, I'm a PC gamer. I've got a PS3, I've got a DS, I've got a couple of other things, but the only videos you're going to see on this channel are for PC games anyway, because it's a lot easier. I can't capture consoles or anything, and to be honest, I don't really play my console anymore since I got a decent gaming PC. So let's have a look. I'm using a controller, and in this game you can set up macros and that sort of thing. You can rebind keys, do all that jazz, which is pretty cool. You might want to rebind them as well, because some of the key configurations are a bit weird. Like, they've got high kick on the right trigger, which, I don't know, I don't like using triggers for fighting games. This is probably better with a fight stick, to be honest, because at the end of the day, it's a fighting game. You'd be better off with a fight stick. But I'd rather use a controller for this than a keyboard, because I just don't like keyboards for fighting games. But that's cool, that's just me. There's a few settings here: music, screen size. You can set all the regular fighting game settings. Got a decent amount of video settings, considering that it's pretty basic game. Like, you don't need much more than what's there. Command list, you can check out the command list for each character, so it'll show you. There's a pretty basic command list for them, as in, you know, that's not heaps, considering, like, if you look at some of the Mortal Kombat command lists or the Street Fighter command lists, there's a lot more. But there's a good reason for that, because this game is focusing more on how you play it as opposed to can you remember all the moves, which is pretty cool. And so for training, we've got tutorials, which, as you can see here, I've done some of them. They're split up into chapters and they teach you different things about different things. So yeah, right at the beginning you've got introduction to movement, where they get you to move around, introduction to defense, where they tell you how to defend and that sort of thing. And that's actually really useful, because it shows you how defending different types of attacks is done and that sort of thing. I couldn't get past the punishing one, I'm not sure why. Hit confirmation, mix up a fence. So it actually teaches you some fighting game concepts, which is actually really cool. You got to admit, it's pretty difficult sometimes to get into fighting games, and I really like fighting games, but I'm kind of shit at them. So it's nice knowing that you've got this great training mode where you can set all the parameters, do all that sort of thing, and really get in and learn about not just the character's moves, but things like introduction to defense and basic attacks, advanced movement, that sort of thing. It's really really useful. It teaches you more about playing the game and playing a fighting game and being effective than it does about, you know, the moves that you need to remember for each character. As you can see on the right there, the character designs are somewhat unique in the fighting genre. But yeah, let's have a quick look at some single player. I'm not going to do any verses because I'm not good enough to do that. Let's put the difficulty. We've got Sleepwalk, Easy, Normal, Hard, Ridiculous, and Nightmare. I kind of want to go easy because I am shit. But let's do it at normal just to see what happens. We've got story mode, follow a character through their adventure, or we've got arcade mode. Fight your way through a randomly generated challenge. So you can do, there are team fights and there are single fights. Let's do a story mode. Now Philia I've actually played before, it's the only character I have played before. Valentine I haven't played any of the others actually, so they're all pretty whatever. As you can see, they're all quite unique character designs, and you've probably seen them before around the internet, but they're quite interesting, to say the least. Let's do someone who's a bit weird. Let's go for Cerebella. So the story is basically that all these fighters are, I guess, corrupted or something by some sort of curse and that sort of thing, and that's why they're weird and wonderful and have all these crazy designs. But they're trying to get a Skullgirl to cure themselves or something like that. I think that's kind of the point to it. They're a little silly, really, the stories, but they're kind of cool. It's a nice little addition to the game. Teaches you a little bit about why each character is the way they are, and they've all got different personalities and all that sort of thing. But we'll skip through most of this, and the graphics are a little bit over the top here and there. You know, there's a lot of boobs and butts and short skirts and all that kind of thing, which is a little bit weird sometimes. But it is a fighting game, and that's kind of to be expected, I guess, in the genre. But other than that, there are some good character designs in here. They're not all just, hey, check out the tits, which is good. Blah 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 blah. We won't worry about the story in this little playthrough because it's just not worth it. So let's do it.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's showtime.
Oh, wait. So you've got your regular low, high, and medium punches and kicks. But then with that as well, you've got different moves that you can do, which I'm not going to be able to do very well. Let's face it, I'm just kind of button mashing at the moment. And there are also, you'll see in the top left, a bar gets filled up where it's got the number 1 there currently for me. And you can pull off a special like that, although that wasn't me, so... You can do a dash, both in the air, and some characters can double jump. This one obviously can. And yeah, it gets pretty frantic, but you can see how the sprites and animation look pretty freaking fantastic. Yeah, actually got some blocks in there, that's nice. And there's a lot of moves which are very similar between each character. I'm not sure what they are for this character, so I am kind of button mashing a little. But we actually got that one, cool! And the soundtrack's wacky, and the levels are wacky, and the characters are wacky, and the whole thing's pretty fucking wacky. But it plays really well, and you don't feel like Like, even though I kind of button mash here and there and that sort of thing, I don't feel like I'm absolutely shit at it because of the good training. I'm going to have a quick look at the list here. So yeah, you got generic kind of stuff like down, forward, forward, down, forward, forward, down, forward, forward, down, forward, down, forward, down, back. And you've got some like light punch, light kick at the same time. Sometimes you get like light punch, medium punch at the same time. That sort of thing. High punch, high kick. Pummel horse, yeah, cool. Oh, I hate those moves where you got to do the full circle. Because I don't have a fight stick, it's actually really hard. Okay, so level 1 special, down, forward, punch, punch. Okay, cool, we can do that. So let's get to it. See if we can do some of these moves. I like how this character I'm playing against can like rip her head off. But I'm going to shut up for a second so you can listen to the soundtrack and that sort of thing. It's pretty good. So yeah, and the backgrounds are pretty cool as well. Like you can see in there's a few little animations going on in the background, which is kind of nice. And yeah, it's wacky as hell, but I like that. It doesn't take itself too seriously, I don't think.
Now for the main attraction.
Okay, I think I'll switch out some characters here, and we'll have a quick look at the training actually, because that's quite cool.
You can't give up now.
So let's head back. Let's look at training tutorials. And this is, I think, where the real strength of the game is. Like, you've seen the art style, you've seen the characters, that sort of thing. That's all great. But, like, this one teaches you about hit confirmation. So, when on the offensive, sticking with mostly safe attacks will protect you against punishment. This tactic is often referred to as poking. Pokes are safe attacks that tend to be fast, lightly damaging attacks, like low punch and low kick. Attack with some pokes now. Okay, so this is teaching you that you can keep it going with a whole bunch of light attacks that won't necessarily do much damage, but it gives you a goals just up there in the top right, just above the character, to kind of do it, and it gives you the oh no, that's not helping. Hit confirmation chains. So it's cool. It teaches you about those little concepts like poking and stuff. So rather than just button mashing, you can actually kind of put some theory behind it and think, hey, if I use this poking technique, I'll be able to tie them up into kind of a stun lock situation and use it, which is quite nice. And like this hit confirmation chains. Using a chain of safe attacks gives you a lot of time to confirm whether your attacks hit or were blocked. This is often called a hit confirmation chain. Since more damaging attacks are riskier and can leave you vulnerable, hit confirming lead helps you test if it's safe to continue your combo into those attacks. If your poking chain hits, you now know you can safely combo into more damaging hard attacks without fear of being punished. If your poking chain was blocked, you should try another poking chain instead of risking hard attacks. So there it's saying, like, you know, start off with some little pokes so that you can see if they're going to block you first or not. So low kick to medium kick to a high kick, so...
It's nothing.
So you can see she's blocking it there and then she's not, so kind of tells you whether it's worth doing or not.
Just perfect.
Which is cool, and like previous one, it told you about blocking and how to block effectively and that sort of thing. So let's have a quick look at what the next one is and then we'll probably wrap it up. high-low mix-ups. So here we are again. When on the offensive, you have more success if you vary the height of your attacks so that it's harder for your opponent to block them all. The most basic approach is to attack with a jumping attack that must be blocked high, and then a crouching attack that must be blocked low. So again, this is telling you not so much how to use special moves or anything, because this is just using light kicks and high punches and that sort of stuff. But it's telling you more about movement and how to move around the level. So let's go... It wants us to do a low kick, then a high punch. Which is more difficult than you might think. There we go. A rare few ground normals hit high and thus must be blocked while standing. Attacking with low attacks and chaining into high ones is another effective mix-up technique. So attacking with low attacks into high ones. Hit with an overhead attack after the opponent blocks low. So Parasol, who's my character, her back and high kick is an overhead attack. Yes it is. Chain medium kick into that to do a high-low mix-up. So boom, boom. Nice. Using mix-ups with hit confirming. Try using a high-low mix-up on your opponent. If your mix-up is blocked, chain into an overhead. If your mix-up hits the opponent, chain into a sweep instead. So we want to jump with a high punch, low crouch with a low kick, and crouch with a medium kick. That's getting confusing. Okay, so... Wait. Yeah. No, wait, I can do it. Oh. Okay, you can see all the button combinations down the bottom as well coming up, so... It's good, it helps you learn what you're doing and what you're doing wrong and that sort of thing. So let's jump, high punch, low kick, rah rah. And yeah, I'm not going to sit here and try and hassle my way through it because I'd probably want to rebind the keys a bit before getting too serious about this. Because they are quite bullshit. Really. But you can see that this whole tutorial section is really cool for teaching you how to play the game, which I think is immensely valuable for this sort of game. So if you want to have some sort of chance, it gives you a little bit of a level playing field. It at least teaches you how to block different combos and how to set up combos yourself and that sort of thing. Rather than just giving you a moves list of all these fancy moves, but you don't know how to use them, or you don't know when to use them properly. So yeah, I think this game's great. It's amazing. It's a little confusing for me because I'm not hugely good at fighting games, but it's the kind of game where I feel like if you gave enough time with it, you'd learn enough and you'd be able to practice enough to actually get fairly decent with it, which is cool. And I'm actually quite surprised that I managed to get a few levels there earlier and win a couple of matches on normal mode, because that's usually very hard for me because I'm just not that good at them. And I play other games on, you know, normal or less when it comes to fighting games, and because I'd rather play against real people and that sort of thing. And generally fighting games for me are a versus on the couch kind of deal. But hey, this one's great. And apparently the netcode is good as well, so the online works well. And yeah, I'm probably going to try that out a bit later with some friends, but we'll see. But I think that about wraps me up for this game. This first episode of One Shot. So that's basically what we're going to do with future games. We're going to have a little play around, a little look with it, and explore the different options and that sort of thing. So if you liked it, check out the channel, subscribe, favourite, do whatever you want. It's all up to you, who cares? And yeah, I'll see you on the next episode. Bye!